Chris. It's a joy listening to you speak. It's really great. My name's Ali, and among other things, I'm engaged in setting up a shoot in New Orleans and Memphis for your boys, Jamie and Duncan, of One Giant Leap.
Really? Great.
Yeah, which is really fabulous. And I don't know how many people know about One Giant Leap, but there's these two.
How many people know about One Giant Leap? Okay, a few. That's great. Yeah.
Well, maybe you want to talk about that a little bit, but my question is, basically these are two guys who go around doing fabulous musical collaborations around the world, and so I've been thinking a lot about matters of Indigenous music and setting this up, and I think the thing that has really struck me about their music, which is so wonderful, is that they'll take a drummer from Uganda and a singer from Nepal and a didgeridoo player from Australia and combine them onto one track, and somehow the integrity of each of those genres is retained, which is wonderful. And I'm from New Zealand, and on the first One Giant Leap documentary, George Nuku, who's a Maori artist, talks about the fact that young Maori people don't really want to be Polynesian. They don't want to be Maori. They want to be African American. They want to be P. Diddy, you know,
right.
Which, not wanting to malign my beloved adopted country, but I think that, you know, the Americanization of the world's cultures is a great tragedy. And so my question is, which I'm finally getting to, is how do you see the future of Indigenous musical forms? How much hope is there that the diversity will be retained, especially in light of the kind of terrible fear of impending doom that record companies have, you know, so they're always wanting to take a safe bet rather than take a risk?
Well, I again come back to basic. I think live performance. I think if you see King Sunny Ade live, you know, you just got to love the music, you know. I think also it's got to be, your expectations have got to be more narrow in a sense, because once people are singing in a different language, for those of us who speak English, right? Because obviously, you know, a lot of the countries buy English-speaking music in huge volumes. But for those of us who speak English, we're spoilt with the fact that that's the language. So when people are singing in another language, I think that immediately puts you in more in the jazz world, in a sense, because you are then comparing an artist, let's say Salif Keita, his voice is an instrument. It's really an instrument. You're more listening to instrumental music than vocal music, because there's no longer a word element that you can understand. So that will limit it itself to its potential, unless, again, there is something which has got a remix as a dance record, and then that has its own flaws, because you have who was the guy who had Yeki? I can't remember. Papa Wemba. Papa Wemba is a fantastic artist. Is it Papa Wemba? I think it's it. And he had a song which was remixed for clubs called Yeki Yeki, which sold like 2 million copies. So people went to buy the album, and the rest of the album has nothing to do with that. It was a pure studio, manufactured thing for dance floor. I think Indigenous music at the moment. I'm actually talking with some kind of, sounds very sort of high-powered, but I don't know if it is that high-powered, but it's with some elements of the World Bank who are wanting to put money into African music. And I told them that I thought the best way to do it was not to put it in the recording process, but to put it in the support of touring, and especially, you know, spending some time with the immigration authorities. Since September the 11th, most of these guys can't really travel too easily because their names are a string of consonants. So that's what I think it'll get stronger, actually. I think it'll get stronger, and personally, how I'd love to see it, I would love to see it actually mixed with well-known jazz artists, because I think it would be good for both music, for the world music and for jazz.